Are we witnessing the fall of the United States? You know, in the late 80s, in like 89, the Soviet Union split apart. And I'm Polish, my people are Polish. And, Poland rose out of that. And many nations, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, Croatia, all these countries, dozens of countries, split off from Russia, Mother Russia, okay, from behind the Iron Curtain. This just happened in the 90s. Now, in Europe, the EU formed, all these countries came together, and right now, Britain is splitting off. Brexit. Right now, they're going through this. Is this about to happen to the United States? There, a poll, 4 in 5 U.S. citizens say the United States is falling apart. This was released 1 week after the peaceful Mr. T riot, Mr. T protest at the Capitol. And a lot of people are saying that that's a false flag, and there's some indication of that. It looks like they were let in. There's a lot of, even among the protesters, there's division. There are 21,000 troops stationed in Washington, D.C. right now for Mr. B's inauguration as president elect. 21,000. That equals twice the troop deployments currently in Afghanistan and Iraq combined. That's a lot of troops. What is going on? Mr. B is the most popular, according to the mainstream media, Mr. B is the most popular president ever elected in the United States. Why do you need massive troop deployments to protect him? I think he's canceling the inauguration. There's going to be no parade. This is just weird. This looks like a coup. Okay, and then we have Mr. T being banned from all social media. I want to look at how bad is the division in our country. And plus, we've had lockdown since it's been at least a year. Okay, and I remember the food shortages back last year around this time, and that started to worry me because I couldn't find food on the shelves, and I was going to 2 and 3 places a day to find rice, and so I was stocking up on rice and canned goods. Are these lockdowns that have been going on for more than a year, and Mr. B promises more lockdowns, are these to create a starving and dependent population? I mean, half of the small businesses are closed. Are they softening up the United States for things much worse than we've even seen?
Good day, YouTubers. Welcome back to my channel. Today we're looking at the United States, a house divided. This is an interesting map. This is a secession map. Texas is the most likely to secede. Parts of California, those are very likely to secede. California actually has the most Republicans of any state in the United States. And if they split up the state in various ways, it would really change the electoral map. I'm not sure about Arizona and New Mexico. I wasn't aware of those. But I lived in South Florida. I lived all over Florida. I lived in North Florida. I lived in Middle Florida. I lived in South Florida. And South Florida is a very unusual place. I mean, it's really different than the rest of the United States. It's like South Florida is very much like California, Southern California, with all the homeless, and it's a really unique place that is just completely different than any other place in the United States. That can be good or bad. But I could definitely see South Florida seceding. I could definitely see California. California is driving the nation in liberal policies. Texas seems to be pushing the other way. So let's look at how bad are the divisions in our country, in the United States. Let's look at the divisions between left and right. How bad are the divisions? Because there's a lot of talk. I mean, why are there 21,000 troops at the Capitol right now? They're not telling us anything about it. But that's always look at what people do and not what they say. So let's look at the left. This is the left. And the right. Ooh. That's very interesting and kind of unexpected. So the left, the olive tree, the deeply rooted olive tree, actively doing their thing, they're at a crossroads. 9 and 6, 15, four clubs. The ball is in the left's court. Okay, with Mr. B being elected, they won. And they're really going to take advantage. They're really going to implement their policies, whether you like it or not. And interestingly, on the right has 10 spades. Karmic relationship. The 75 million people in America who voted for Mr. T feel disenfranchised. Okay, but we have the roses here. Okay, things are still okay on the surface, and this adds 5 clubs. 5 clubs here, 5 clubs here. We are at a crossroads for this country. Okay, the right, the Republican Party, the less radical lefties, they feel disenfranchised in their own country. And they're very upset. Everything is still okay on the surface. Look at these hearts. And they want the best for the country. It's interesting. The right has hearts, and the left, there are no hearts. There are no hearts here at all. Only structure cards. Okay, rooting, clovers. It's all clovers on the left. On the right, it's heart, love of country. They want the best for people. Okay, and great disappointment. So there is a huge smoldering disappointment on the right in the political spectrum here in America. Magi, Scourge, manifesting, that's 13, 16, 4 spades, secretly manifesting their will. Let's look at this. Veil, no, and handcuffs, 11 and 7, 18, 5 diamonds. They are committed to working secretly and putting a stop to the people who disagree with them. There's a lot of talk about people on the left actually making lists of people who supported Mr. T, anyone who disagrees with them. They called for violence many times. Many of these senators, and it's very, very disturbing. Very disturbing. So the big disappointment, the big disenfranchisement is on the right. That's interesting. Let's look at why are there 21,000 troops currently in Washington, D.C. I'm from D.C. I lived my whole life there until I retired. I worked in D.C. So are they expecting, is there a credible, significant threat in the Capitol? Because that's a lot of people. That's a lot of troops. I mean, there's only I don't know how big D.C. is. D.C. is not very big. It's like 250,000 people. D.C. itself, it's a very small area. And then to add 20,000, you've just added 10% to the population, all with heavy arms, with M4 carbines, I think they're carrying. So is there a credible threat that there's so many troops? Underneath, okay, the man, coffin, secrets, man, secrets, and cornucopia, 12 and 1325. On an ongoing basis, there are secret material. This is 8 clubs, 8 diamonds is all material things. Honest man with secrets, all material things. And 7 hearts. Sun, all the people, and cornerstone. 10, 11, 3 clubs. There are definitely things going on under the surface. There are definitely things going on under the surface. There, I don't see a huge danger here. I don't see like something big happening. I see stuff happening under the surface. And here, this is under the surface. On the surface, everything is fine. But here, it's everything is under the surface. It hasn't poked above the surface yet. And the concern is that they'll try to take away all the guns before anything does pop to the surface. Okay, so Mr. T has just been impeached again, and he's been banned from all social media. How upset are people about this? Because that is definitely, this is monopoly practices, and this is definitely censorship. Okay, and as a YouTuber, I'm very familiar with censorship. It is, man, it's a beast. It just makes doing this, it makes video making so difficult, all the censorship. So how are people feeling about the impeachment and the censorship of Mr. T? People feel about the impeachment and the censorship? Okay, reacting 7, 8, 2 spades. They don't like it. Everything is okay on the surface, but people are watching and they see this. Executioner, inheritance, Fox, 25, 35, 9 clubs. There is an official plan to disenfranchise. It's a very long-term, very ruthless plan. King of Spades is the government. King of Spades is the judge. King of Spades is the policeman. King of Spades can be organized crime. It's very organized and far planning. It's very clever, very far planning. They have it's like the New World Order underneath. People see that it's like the New World Order. I mean, they have this huge plan that they're carrying out. Okay, but on the surface, it's still fine. Everything is fine on the surface, but people are realizing that there's a huge plan. There's this master plan being carried out. So people they see this master plan. So we've been locked down, even here in the United States, and it's a lot better here in the States. In different states where I am, it's worst. It's the worst in California. Okay, I'm not in California now. I did live in California recently for about 3.5 years. It's a beautiful place. It's a unique place. It's different than anywhere else in the country, and that's North and South California. It's just California is the big cities in California are just very different than the rest of the U.S., and that's partly because of so much homelessness. I mean, it's such a presence everywhere you go, and that's because of policies there. So we have these lockdowns happening since last year, a whole year. Is there a plan to soften up the sheeple to do much worse things to us? Because, I mean, that German guy with the little mustache, and he ran that big organization over there in Germany in World War II. I mean, they starved the people. Okay, the people were starving and completely helpless. And that's kind of what's been done during these lockdowns. They've been softening up the sheeple for a year. So is there some huge plan to do much worse to our populations now that they have us bankrupt, starving, dependent? And right after this we're going to have hyperinflation because they printed so much money recently. Okay. Well, I shuffled upside down. So here we're looking at a master plan, and that master plan is actually called the Great Reset. And some of these folks came out with it. You know, now that we've had this the Wu flu pandemic, now we should do the Great Reset of our economies and do all this globalism stuff. So let's looking at that master plan. What do we have going on? Actions, 3 blackbirds, mustard. The seeds are planted for action among the people. The people. It's interesting. Home came out upside down because I generally don't read upside down unless a card comes out upside down. So the people are upside down. Okay, the closely related people. So the people are being oppressed. The seeds and the actions of oppressing the people are here. 4 and 4, 8, 2 spades. This is not to benefit the people. It's to oppress the people. And that's what's happening. So city, tower, incubus, succubus, completely selfish. 9 hearts, karmic shift, a big change. Selfishly for the governments on the people. So they want to, so I'm asking, have they been locking us down for a year to do much worse things? Yes, they plan huge changes that only benefit at the highest levels, high tower, and it's communism. They are trying to institute communism, and that never works. It didn't work in China. It didn't work in Russia. All of my relatives came from Poland under communism. I had relatives come here after 1989 when the wall fell. And man, nobody has anything good to say about communism who's lived through it ever. I mean, no one. So, and because all my relatives were over there, and most of my relatives are still in Poland. So they hate communism. Anybody who's lived under communism absolutely hates it. And that's what we're getting. So it's to oppress the people. They do have a huge plan to make big changes, yet they're carrying out their plan. So what I'm seeing here is they have this big master plan, and they're just carrying it out step by step, and it's all against the right side, the Republicans. It's okay, and the left, the plan is working. Okay, they're happy about it, and the right, all the people on the right are being held down, and they just keep hitting that spot, and it's to oppress the people. The people are upside down. They're oppressing the people. So let's see. Why are 21,000 troops? There's a whole bunch of secrets they're keeping from us. And we have structurally with the people, Ace of Diamonds can be a big explosion. So they're really worried about a big backlash for all the crazy stuff they're doing to get Mr. B into power so they can take power. 3. Okay, so Mr. T was impeached again, and they banned him from all social media. This shows the master plan being carried out. But again, so all of the stuff going on is beneath the surface, and they're not telling you what's going on. They're not telling you why there's 21,000 troops in D.C. They're not saying anything about it, okay? And they're trying to keep it all covered up. Mr. B was hiding in his basement. He didn't go out and to the different states. He couldn't draw a crowd. They're canceling the inauguration. Everything is just hidden. And the excuse is, the Wu flu. And that is all part of the plan too. So everything is going on under the surface. I don't see it popping off yet. It's not popping off yet. It's just all under the surface. So we'll see what happens. That's how I see it. I'm Joseph Magi, author of Playing Card Divination, Fortune Telling, the Magi Method. Find the book worldwide on Amazon and Kindle and paperback versions. Find the full color card deck used here on Etsy/Magi Method. Many thanks to the generous folks who bought me a cup of tea. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and